For those who frequently operate portable, sometimes it feels like every day is field day. But it's not really that simple. For the last 2 years, I was activating summits on field day, as it's one of my favorite ways to activate because I don't even have to post a spot. I just turn the dial and fill up the log. But this year, as the advisor to the Camas High School Amateur Radio Club, I had students attending field day for the Clark County Amateur Radio Club here in Southwest Washington, and I figured I had to show up. But rather than tell you about it myself, I pulled Dave Sherba, the president of the Clark County Amateur Radio Club, aside and asked him a few questions. What is field day?
Field Day is a national event for both Canada and the United States, where amateur radio operators take their equipment out into the field and they set up and operate under simulated emergency conditions for 24 hours. The goal of the event is to use all the different modes of amateur radio to communicate, in addition to all the various frequencies that amateur radio operators are allowed to use. Using the different modes and frequencies, we'll communicate with people all around the world, primarily the US and Canada, but also people in other countries, all in Asia, Europe, and even the Pacific.
So what's going on behind us right now?
So we're in the process of setting up all this equipment for the field. The radios in themselves are fairly small these days. However, the antennas for some of the frequency bands that we use are very large. The size of the antenna is in relationship to the frequencies that we use. So some of the antennas may be 80 meters big, others may be as small as 2 meters. So depending on the frequency, the size of the antenna. So right behind us, they're putting together a 4-element beam for the 20-meter band.
So who are the people back here? So who's the organization that's doing this?
So the club has about 400 members. We're one of the largest amateur radio clubs in the United States. They come from all different walks of life. We have people who used to work for JPL, we have people who were physicians, and we have people who were truck drivers and maintenance people. So there's a lot of technology in the field, but there's also a lot of people who just learned about the technology and became amateur radio operators.
How is field day different than like a Parks on the Air activation or a Summits on the Air activation?
So they're actually very similar, except the scale of which is occurring. On the Summits on the Air and Parks on the Air, 1 or 2 individuals go out and set up and operate in most cases. Field Day is a group effort because we're talking about the amateur radio operators coming together and serving our community in times of disasters and national emergencies. So the scale at which we do the Field Day is considerably larger.
How long is the event? What's the duration? Are you operating all day and all night?
So yes, we'll operate for 24 hours. And we'll operate using generators or solar for the entire time. Just like it would be in a real disaster if the power grid went down, we would have to find means of providing energy to operate our radios. So it's truly an emergency simulation. Just like in a real emergency, things are going to happen. We've had very good luck because we do a good job of preparing. But occasionally a radio or a computer that we use for logging our contacts has problems, and that station may be off the air for some period of time. So part of this exercise is to find out those things, and so we can prepare better for them. So we have about 35 people here today helping. This is a logistics. We have people doing food, transportation, rental furniture, we have porta potties. You know, this is a full-scale event that involves all sorts of club members coming together and helping out.
And who's welcome to participate?
Every amateur radio operator, old or new license, visitors from the community, especially visitors. If they have any interest in knowing more about amateur radio, they're more than welcome. We will have various political leaders visit us tomorrow. We'll see mayors and county board individuals and people from fire departments and emergency management who want to know more about amateur radio, and they'll come and visit and watch our operation tomorrow.
So there you have it. It's just like a SOTA or a POTA activation, except that it lasts 24 hours, involves participants working every band, simulates an emergency scenario, requires logistical support needed for dozens of participants, and can involve some serious infrastructure. So, at least in this case, it's not really all that much like a SOTA or POTA activation at all, aside from the fact that it's outside, except that, well, it doesn't always have to be a huge event like this. Anybody can operate a station for Field Day. I've seen Field Day stations that are very much like a POTA activation with just 1 or 2 people working a wire antenna under a tent. So it can operate on whatever scale you wish for it to. The most important part is simply that you become familiar with operating your radio outside using portable power. So do it however you want. Now, however you choose to do it, get out there and go play with your radio.